So I guess something that I've become quite interested in is the idea of boredom as a tool, and whether people have become less bored in the world, and whether that's a reason for sort of steadily increasing levels of depression and anxiety, and whether people are achieving less significant feats and impacts in the world because they're less bored. And essentially, are people just kind of happy to be distracted and not, comfortable with being in their own company anymore? Now, of course, there will always be, outliers in any society, and there'll be people who you can pick up and put in whatever time period, and they're always going to achieve, significant things and were destined for greatness because of the size of their intellect. But what is the difference if we look at society as a whole today, sort of compare it to like pre-technology times, and how do they stack up? There are talents like Lionel Messi in football, and authors like Stephen King, entrepreneurs like Bill Gates, but where we've seen on a whole an average increase in the level of IQ on society as a whole, what does that mean in terms of, individual discoveries and impacts? Are we seeing less of those things, and would those things that were discovered in the past through scientific theories, would they occur today, and how long would it take for them to occur? Would they occur through the use of tools like AI? Would it be possible for someone to generate ideas themselves in the same way that people did in the past? And if that is the case, is that because there's less time to ponder on things and there's less boredom? And are we suffering from sort of like a stimulus epidemic? And if that is the case, that lower levels of boredom are something that's negative, is there even any way to go back to those times before? Times when you would enjoy things as a kid because you didn't have anything else to do. You would love playing with, marbles or something like that, or like little action figures, which I don't know if the kids of today would be able to find as much enjoyment in those things when there's an iPad that can literally just beam to you whatever it is that you want to see and give you that in full 3D colour, lights, sound, everything. Is there any way of going back? And so I think, well, whether boredom in people is good or not is up for debate. I think one thing that we can all agree on for certain is that there is less boredom in the world. Like, I remember as a kid being genuinely bored out of my mind at times. For example, it might be a Sunday and your friends aren't free and you're not able to, and you're stuck in a car going to have to visit some family member that you just, to be honest, you couldn't really be bothered seeing, and you just wanted to be at home playing on your PlayStation, and you were just bored out of your mind. And I can't remember the last time that I can honestly say that I was actually bored, because anytime that I do feel a little bit bored, I can just pick up my phone and look at Twitter or Instagram or YouTube and immediately find a video that's going to show me something. Whether or not I want to watch it, I can flick through reels on TikTok and just keep going and going and going. And if I looked at something like Gordon Ramsay, best moments where he's lost his head on Kitchen Nightmares, it's going to show me every single time that he's ever lost his head on Kitchen Nightmares, just on repeat. Now, one of the people that I keep going back to and thinking about whether they would achieve as much in today's world as they did in their time is Albert Einstein. So let's take a look at that. Now, Einstein is undoubtedly most well known for his work on general theory of relativity and the equation E equals mc squared, which is known the world over. However, what's less known are his early struggles to get a teaching position, which led him to working in a patent attorney's office for a couple of years. Now, working in that office is something that he said he found incredibly boring, and it's where he thought many of his different theories by having time to let his mind to wander. In fact, Einstein is credited with the saying, "Imagination is more important than knowledge." What Einstein was said to have had here is a higher boredom quotient. That is, that he was able to generate a large amount of his ideas through boredom. Think about a time when you face a challenge at work and you couldn't think of a solution. You're surrounded by people asking you questions. You got emails coming in left, right and centre about things that aren't relevant, and you just can't think about it for rhyme or reason. Then what happens later when you're in the shower or you're just about to go to sleep? You close your eyes and you're lying there in the room and the light bulb goes off and the solution presents itself. Now, this is because you've been allowed time to think about other things. So the creative side of your brain has been allowed time to wander. Now you're outside of a mundane office environment. And it's that time that I think that we're lacking. Whereas Einstein has had that time in abundance to him. We have these fleeting moments where, for example, we're in the shower or going to sleep, times when we're not able to look at our phones, and the times when we have this inspiration strike. Einstein recognised this. Being a keen but self-confessed amateur sailor, he would often go out aimlessly on his boat and once said that a cruise in the sea is an excellent opportunity for maximum calm and reflection on ideas from a different perspective. Now, if Einstein felt the need to go out on a boat away from people in the early 1900s to think of it a bit more openly, then what does it say for us with our phones, TVs, laptops and emails? Have we simply become so distracted that there isn't any way back, to become unhooked from the dopamine dependence that phones and short form contents have given us? And where some people might say they're happy enough not being bored and enjoy being surrounded by constant entertainment, how would you know whether you genuinely want that unless you try and unhook and give boredom a go?